Okay, we've got to take a major digression to explain another set of criteria for the house that I put off because I didn't know how to explain it. And so I'm drawing the house again, a little more accurately this time. Okay, and we're going to draw another one because, as you've seen, there are two of them per time, as it were, allotment, dispensation. Okay, sorry my drawing isn't as good this time. Alright, so these are two 1050-year houses. This is the 1,000 part, and this is the 50. Okay, so that's the 50 for the second one, and this is the 1,000. Now what I had told you was that for the 1,050 to be completed, this part here needed to be a 490 plus 70 plus 490 to justify the house, and there had to be people in it who super matured, and this part here, the 70, was a mass voting. Okay, I also explained that the unbeliever votes during this part here. Alright? But there's more to it than that. Okay? The more to it is that there also has to be somebody during that same period. It can be the same person, and usually has been, or it can be somebody else. There has to be somebody who super matures. Let's see, I'm going to give this a green color. There has to be somebody who actually super matures enough that God can grant, due to that person's maturity, 1,000 years. Alright? This is another rule in addition to the 490s. And the Bible tells us who these people are. Okay? So now we're introducing the second set of rules, that there has to be either the same person or somebody else who is so super mature that he gets a 1,000-year time grant. This is the source of millennialism. Alright? And like I said, the Bible explains who these people are. And that's what I'm going to introduce here. Okay, the person who won this first one, it was about, let's see if I can get this to somewhat to scale, in about 687. Okay. I can't do that very well. In about 687, the guy who won this one is Enoch. Now we know that because 1,000 years later is the flood. It's not quite 1,000. It actually occurs, the flood occurs about here in 1656 from Adam. Boy, my ability to draw on this is not very good today. 1656 from Adam. Okay? So, let me see if I can't. Now, 1656 is not 1687, as I'm sure you've noticed. It's 30 years short. And because it's that's the reason why I'm not doing it right. 1687 would have been 1,000 years, but the flood actually occurs in 1656. Now that demonstrates the rule that if the votes are negative enough, even the time grant, because Enoch got the 1,000 years here, that's signified by the birth of his son, Methuselah. Methuselah means when he dies it happens. Alright, Methuselah doesn't quite live 1,000 years. Okay, he doesn't quite live 1,000 years because people are so negative. Now see, this is the voting window. Let's give this a different color. This is the voting window for unbelievers right here. Alright? So during this voting window here, There weren't enough positive votes to really continue history by the unbelievers. But there were enough positive votes by believers. So history continues because Enoch had won the 1,000. And that's signified by his son's name. Okay? When he dies, it happens. And Methuselah was born in 687 from Adam. Let me get the 7 to work properly. Alright? You with me on that? And you can see all that in genius.xls. I'm just plotting Genesis 5 roster. That's how we know what year it is. Because you add up the begats. It's very simple. It would have to be simple because everybody in Israel was supposed to have this memorized. Okay, so during the voting period then, this period here, maybe, you know, the blue that's showing, instead of being all filled up, it's got just a few. Okay, a few voted to know God, so they entered into the house, so they're no longer unbelievers. You got that? So as time passed, okay, the unbelievers remaining who should have been voting die out. And so God has to announce, and I'll show you. See, so they're dying, right? Some of them went in, and most of them are dying. So God has to announce right here in 1536 from Adam. And again, this is all plotted in genius.xls worksheet. This is 4 years before the believer voting window opens. And it's Noah who's going to vote during the voting window. God announces in 1536 from Adam, hi, the unbelievers didn't vote enough. So you got 120 years left on this 1,000-year time grant. In other words, he's announcing when Methuselah is going to die in 120 years. All right, and that sets a precedence, and we're in one of those 120-year periods right now. Okay? Our 120-year period ends 2130 AD, and I covered that in the past assault video. All right, but back here, this is the first time the precedent is being set in 1536 from Adam. But Noah votes. So Noah is the guy who wins the 1,000 for this second year. All right, the second time period. Now what you end up having is from here to here. You have the protection from Enoch. During that time, we'll color this in light blue like I do in the worksheet. During this time period right here, that I'm coloring in light blue, Noah voted positive and matured. All right, so that, we'll bring it down, became 1556, 20 years into the voting window. Remember when he's 100 years old when he has his kids. That's 20 years after the voting window opened. That's 20 years after this point. 20 years after 1536 when God makes his announcement. You see that? All right, so Noah now has a 1,000 that's going to run to 2556. Hello. That will run to 25, 5, 6. You see that? Now the end point here is 2100. So history has the ability to continue because Noah's 1,000 is going to last longer. You see that? This is really important. I'm sorry that my drawing is so bad. Take a few minutes to analyze that, and we'll continue in the next video.